Welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm Ellis Nordhoff, and today I'm back with a preview for Fulham versus Everton on Saturday at 3 p.m. It's one of the few games left in this season now. It's another away fixture, and it's a chance for Everton to just prove themselves for next season. Try and earn them new contracts. Try and show that you can be part of David Moyes' plans. There isn't a lot to play for on our side of things, but there is for Fulham. They're pushing for a European spot, so still a chance for them to make something of this season. They've had a decent season. They've not really been talked about as being amazing this season, but they're very much in contention still for that 8th spot, that potential Conference League spot. Let's get right into it. So, on the Everton front, 2-2 against Ipswich last week. Disappointing result for sure, absolutely. It was not really what our fans went into that game wanting or expecting even, and with it being the second to last game at Goodison, I felt like we were going to get a bit more of a performance from that game. Incredible display by the 1878s before kick-off, just magnificent. I've not seen Goodison look like that in ages, if ever. It just looked amazing. All four sides of the ground, confetti, flags, banners, great work from them. And it looked like Everton were going to go and steamroll the way to a 4-5-0 victory, and went 2-0 up and threw it away. So they've got something to prove now against Fulham. They've got to react, I suppose, and make sure that we don't do that again, because dropping 2-0 leads has been all too regular an occurrence this season, and we need to make sure it doesn't happen again. But in terms of Fulham, obviously a good side, obviously got ability, certain familiar face. Alex Iwobi will be coming up against us here. Obviously a threat as well, talented player, decent on the ball. He's probably not the main threat, but you know, he's obviously going to offer something, and he's going to be up for it as well, isn't he? As are the whole of Fulham side, because they need to win this one to really stay in that fight for Europe. Although they haven't done that great recently. They've lost 3 out of the last 4 games. Beat Southampton in between, but other than that, they've not been great recently. So they'll be worrying that they might be faltering as it comes to the end of the season and might not just get that European spot. I suppose the momentum really is probably with Brentford at the moment. They've been winning more games than anyone else around them, and you know, if anyone's going to get that 8th spot, I would expect it more to be Brentford. Fulham actually play Brentford after this, so could that be a game they have their eye on a little bit more? Or maybe they're thinking, if this is an easier opportunity to get the 3 points, it just really piles pressure on Brentford in that game against Fulham to go and beat them and finish this European race. So there's definitely a lot to play for Fulham. There's players that we've always had problems against. You know, the likes of Bernd Leno in goal, always has a good game against us. Anthony Robinson, former Everton, of course. Rapid, really good fullback who probably Everton wish we'd kept, ultimately. At the time, it didn't seem like he was going to amount to anything special, but he's a more than good enough fullback, and I imagine he would be our starting left-back if he was still at the club. So we'll see how Anthony Robinson does. And Raul Jimenez as well, of course, up front. Did a great job at Wolves, got that massive injury, and has finally started picking something back up at Fulham. You know, he's not as prolific as he used to be, but then that's never been the sole part of his game, has it? He's always had way more about him than just goals, Raul Jimenez. So he'll be one to worry about in terms of his cleverness in the box, that ability to get in the right places, good movement, good link-up. So obviously a threat as well, and with Alex Iwobi playing with Harry Wilson, potentially Sessegnon as well, they have got some talented attacking players. So this is a side that they obviously are a decent side, but they're not miles better than us. I don't think there's players that we're saying we're absolutely terrified of. So it's a game that we can go into, no pressure, and I think we should go and try and win it, because, you know, we may as well set up some confidence for the final game at Goodison the week after. Be better to go into that with a win, wouldn't it, than by losing and then thinking, God, we're set up to lose this against Southampton. And we know that just cannot happen. We can't lose that game against Southampton. So the players need to have a bit of confidence behind them, which they might be able to get from winning this game. And if we chat about us now, there's going to be some players that need to react after that Ipswich game, because it just isn't good enough to throw that away to a team that are already relegated. And there's going to be some players that need to also show that they're worthy of being part of David Moyes' plans. Also, they've got to show whether they're worthy of a new contract. There's quite a few players who are going to have to prove that, and it's up to them to do so. Nathan Patterson's a player I've clamoured for in recent weeks, and you know, last week he just wasn't good enough, and most times where he's featured recently, he hasn't been good enough, and if he wants to be in this side for future, he has to be showing it now. Yes, there's not a lot to play for, but these are games where David Moyes is watching thinking, is this player going to fit into my side? And I don't think Nathan Patterson stepped up to the plate recently, so he's got a lot to prove. Of course, players run out of contract as well. The likes of Decore, Ashley Young, them kind of players are going to have to show whether they can do it. Decore's asking for, of course, the same terms that he's on now, and Everton would probably rather slash his wages. He's got to show that he's worth it, and I don't think many Evertonians would say he's worth his full wage, but it's up to him to prove it. It's up to him to make himself irreplaceable and make the hierarchy at Everton think, we cannot get rid of this guy, because in a summer where there's already going to be so much change, I suppose you can't get rid of everybody, can you? And then there's the loanees too. Alcaraz, he's done okay at times. He's impressed in certain games and obviously shown that technical ability he's got, but he's also dipped out of others, and didn't think he was amazing against Ipswich. It's just, if we're going to have to pay for this guy, which we will, it'll be something between 15 and 20 million, I think. He's got to show that he's worth that, and I don't think he's quite done that yet. Another player, of course, Jesper Lindstrom's injured, so he's not going to be able to prove that he's worth that loan. So you're starting to look at the loans thinking, how many of these are going to be part of next season's plans? So thankfully, this is what we can think about now in this game, rather than thinking, oh, we're desperate for these 3 points. We can more so say this is a chance to look at the side and look at what works. And what we saw against Ipswich was that having all those talented attacking players, I'd say the most talented attacking players we've got, they are decent, aren't they, to be fair? McNeil, Alcaraz, and Dye, having them all in the same team, it just didn't really work. And it's something I've wanted for a while. I've wanted to see Ndai in the middle. I've wanted to see Alcaraz in the middle, and just didn't quite gel against Ipswich, really. So Moyes has got to figure out a way of incorporating them players in the team. And now Dwight McNeil's back as well. He's showing that he has to be involved too. He's probably the player who looks the most likely to score or assist in this team at the minute. So I think Dwight McNeil is proving that he needs to be part of it, but it's up to the other two, Ndai and Alcaraz, to show that as well. Ndai struggled recently a bit, and Alcaraz, as I mentioned, is just, we've not quite got everything we need from him. So it's a big game for the attacking side of things as well, and it's something you can do when that pressure's a bit more off. You can kind of trial things a bit more, experiment. And one place I wouldn't experiment is up front. I'd be sticking with Beto for this one because he scored in the last game. Can he go and get another goal? And if Beto carries on these last few games, he can end up with a decent return this season. Could even hit double figures, which that'd be really impressive for him. You know, he's not played that many games, and the lad scores goals, doesn't he? I've seen a lot of talk this week about him potentially leaving, maybe even going to Leeds, and I wouldn't really be doing that because, you know, we haven't got many players who score goals, so I wouldn't be getting rid of any who can, especially not one who scores. You know, he's already scored about 7 this season, hasn't he? So wouldn't be thinking of getting rid of Beto, to be honest. So that's the side. That's probably what we're going to put out in this game. And yeah, it's a chance for them to show what they can do ahead of that huge match against Southampton. And you know what it is as well? It's a nice dress rehearsal for them to go and show, I need to be in that team. Because who wouldn't want to play in the last fixture at Goodison Park? Surely them players are thinking, I've got to be in this team. I want to be on that pitch the day that Everton leave Goodison. And your chance to show it is at Craven Cottage against Fulham. Try and stop their European push. Try and get us over 40 points. And try and make something of these last few games. And just show that the flip-flops aren't on and you're not on the beach. That'd be exactly what I'd be expecting from this team at the weekend. And my prediction for it is going to be 2-1 Everton. It's going to be a decent game. We're going to nick it. We're going to have all the Blues in London in the sun. Going to have a great day out. And we'll all look forward to that final game at Goodison Park the weekend after. Hope you've enjoyed the preview. Thank you very much for watching today. Let me know in the comments, who would you be keeping on who's currently running out of contract? Who needs to prove themselves the most to David Moyes? And who's doing really well at the minute? Let me know. Thank you for watching. See you later.